So each day we are all exposed to risks of some kind.
And that can include your financial portfolio. Today we're talking about how to manage that risk. Our money expert, Dustin Smith from Wealth Enhancement Group, joining us this morning. Hey, Dustin, how you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Good. Let's talk about risk. How do you define it when it comes to finance?
Yeah, sure. When we're talking about finance in particular, we tend to think about risk is when a certain investment differs or falls short of an expected return. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
thinking about it.
Yeah.
And so, what is our capacity to accept investment risks?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Shayla, because when we talk about finance risk, as I just said, I think that actually differs than risk when we're talking about individuals or families. Okay, mm-hmm. So when I think about individuals or families, I think that risk is really not necessarily if you're falling short of a certain investment return or missing a benchmark. Really, what risk is when you fall short of whatever your personal goals are.
And I would think everyone has a different risk level depending on your age, depending on your job, and depending on, quite honestly, like who you are as a person.
Yeah, I mean, your family history is a big thing. When you were born, we've been able to see that that really dictates a lot of what people's risk is, or their ability to accept risk. Mm-hmm. And so, often I get asked from folks as like, hey, how much risk should I be taking in my portfolio, and so on and so forth. But what I like to always tell people is that, first of all, what you need to do is try to create a well-constructed financial plan, because then you can get a sense of, hey, what do I actually need to do to achieve that plan, and how much risk can I mitigate? Meaning, do you need to be in a portfolio that's quite risky, or could you accept a lower rate of return and still be able to achieve your long-term goals?
Right. And then also just accepting that there are some things that are outside of your control that you can't do anything about, like, inflation, longevity, and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, so there's all these things that are happening, right? And we're right at this time of transition. We just went through elections. A lot of people are thinking about like, what's going to happen with tax policy, what's going to happen with inflation, and so on and so forth. So these are all things that you cannot necessarily control. And so, but that's where, once again, it comes back to try to think about what your long-term goals are, try to develop a strategy around that can really try to lay out what types of risk you need to take and where, just to, it's not going to guarantee your success, but what we're trying to do is just try to increase the odds of success. And once again, minimize the investment risk that one needs to take.
Okay, besides calling you and freaking out, how should we deal with this risk?
Yeah, so I do think that, whether or not if you're working with a professional financial advisor like myself, or, just reading books on your own, one of the first things I think people should do is just try to get a sense of how are they actually invested right now. Most people just don't know, right? So if you're going to do anything today, take a few minutes, look at your investments, like at your 401k, IRAs, and just try to get a sense of, hey, just real basic, how much do I have in stocks versus bonds? Mm-hmm. Do I have a lot of cash on hand for emergencies, so on and so forth. So those are some really basic places to start. And then slowly but surely from there, you can start, trying to define that more to cater towards what your actual long-term plan is.
Right. All right, Dustin, good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.